Hello everybody, welcome back to Road to Master. Hope you're all having an amazing day. We're starting off with the white pieces against an 1803 from Romania. We have a Sicilian here. Let's play something different. This is something I used to play a while ago, called this part of it's the closed Sicilian, I guess. Knight f3 is the open Sicilian, looking for the d4 break. Knight c3 doesn't immediately give you the break, so it's more of a closed, which by the name suggests. Anyway, so the whole point of going knight c3, I play f4 here, called the Grand Prix attack. Now, I don't remember any theory at all, to be honest. It's very similar to the King's Indian attack setup that I play, without c3. So let's continue on with that plan, I guess, going for this fianchetto kingside castle with a d3. So they're looking to fianchetto their light square bishop. Now this makes things a bit harder to sort of probe with the pawns. It is a break, like a hook for the pawns, but in reality it's a bit harder to actually make it worthwhile because the bishop's doing such a good job of defending all the nearby squares. It's quite scary. So b5's a common idea. So you're committing on the king side for a big attack. Now they're going to try do the opposite on the queen side. Now I forget if it's a3 or a4 here. I think it very well could be a4. Let's go a4. Trying to lock things up. If they push, we just drop back. And if they open, we obviously just take. So we're going to castle kingside, as the plan suggests. And we're just going to try and launch these pawns. So they've given us a tempo here. They've sort of locked things up a bit. They could push c4, I guess. But I think this is generally quite good for us. Maybe we want to push a c3 at some point, just to sort of make this bishop slightly worse, because it's very strong at the minute. Very open diagonal, stopping a lot of the pawn breaks. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with this setup. I'm pretty happy. It's been a while since I have played the Grand Prix. But I am a big fan. I know there's ideas potentially of f5 at some point. I don't know if we want to start. They've not actually castled kingside, I think is an important thing to mention. They've not committed to a side. So we could potentially end up launching all our things to the king side, and they just get out of the way with castles queen side. So that could potentially be a problem for us. In the meantime, I think it's probably best to just make our pieces slightly better. So I think maybe even a rook b1 here could work. Just getting off this diagonal, allowing us to play b3 and lock up the pawn structure. With a bishop e3 potentially, now that this bishop's no longer tied to the pawn, I think a bishop e3 could work quite well, personally. And all our pieces are developed. They're going to have to commit at some point, and they look like they're going for a kingside castle. It's probably not wise to say they look like they're doing this before they actually do it. But I think it is pretty safe to say here that they're going for a kingside castle. b3 is a move, but I kind of want to start getting some moves off on the king side. I wonder if h4 is the idea with the immediate h5 break with a knight g something. Thing is, our queen's behind two of our pieces, which is a bit annoying, slowing down this h5. So I wonder if h3, g4, f5 is the way to go. At which point maybe a king h2 could work. Getting off some light squares, letting the rook get to g1 and opening up that way could work quite well. I think that might be our plan. I think they're going to want to commit at some point to a central pawn, just to make our life harder, trying to force breaks. You know, their channel is channeling us down one way, and I think f5 is going to be the way to go, which is why we want to take with the g-pawn, opening up this g-line for our rook. Yeah, so they go there. I think take to g is fine. We could also take e, but then we're opening up more of their pieces. e5 could also work here, potentially. We're potentially grabbing the c-pawn, playing a d4 to lock it up. F takes, e5. Could work. E takes, E takes. It leaves this central file just open, which I'm not a big fan of. So I think we could even leave it. We could even leave it. I don't want to leave it, but we could. I'm going to go with this E5 idea. I don't know if it's completely the right idea, but it looks interesting. At least. It looks interesting. And that's all we want, really. It's just a fun, interesting game. I care more about that than winning, to be honest. I think if you're winning by playing the same things all the time, are you really having fun? You know, are you really learning? And that's the whole point of the series, really, is just to learn. So I'm happy, quote-unquote, giving up this pawn here because we take this C pawn. I could even be tempted to let them take this F pawn with knight takes. But I'm a bit worried about E4 as an idea. Actually, am I worried about that? I'm not worried about that. Let's just take the C pawn. Let's take the C pawn. Why not? Why the hell not? I'm happy with knight takes. Looking at loads of different forks and stuff. And yeah, I think now the E file could potentially be a strength for us even. We've got really good control of these squares. We've got good defensive control as well. That seems like it's just losing a piece, no? Bishop takes, because it comes with a fork. Okay, I get you. I get you. Okay. I can just ignore it, though. I can literally just ignore it, because I've still got this fork. It needs to stay here to cover the fork. C3 could work. C3 is quite nice, I think. We might lose this C pawn with the bishop. But again, this fork's such a strong idea. We're not taking with the queen, by the way, because the bishop's there. We would have to take with the bishop first and then get the queen on afterwards. We're also threatening this bishop straight away, which is good. Still controlling this d pawn. Looking at potentially a rook b7 is an idea. Putting more pressure on this knight. The fork's still there. We've got to check here if we can. We want the rook on e1 as well. More pressure on this knight. I think we've got a good position. It's very, very double-edged because our attack doesn't work. Our king's in trouble. But their pieces aren't really doing much, to be honest. And they have a lot of threats coming their way. A lot of threats coming their way. I think maybe a rook move could be their best shout. A rook f7 seems to work well. I think still rook b7 though. Rook b8. Rook takes, queen takes. Takes, rook takes, check. King h8. d4. Seems to be okay. It's a queen versus... What's that? Queen, rook, bishop versus queen, rook, knight. They take the pawn. So they've given up the exchange here. Which is a bit wild. To say the least. They've given up the immediate exchange. And this knight's controlling this check as well, which is annoying for black. I don't know what they're doing about this, to be honest. Their queen moves, they also lose control of this knight. So I could even just take this knight straight away. No, but rook f7 works. What? Ooh. I think I take the rook, right? Yeah, take the rook. Take the rook. Queen takes bishop, queen takes rook. No, queen takes bishop with check. That's the idea. This is wild. I take the rook, right? You gotta take the rook. Do you? I don't know. No, it's gotta be bishop takes. Bishop takes, rook up. Queen d5. Bishop takes, rook up, queen d5, rook takes. And then you've got crazy, crazy stuff with the discovered. Yeah, you got to take the knight. You got to take the knight. There's no way. And then you're controlling all these checks as well. I think that's the only way. It's annoying. Oh, they actually go for that, which is wild. So we're up the exchange fully now. They go for that. Oh. I think here I want to trade queens really, really badly. How do you go about doing that? A rook b5 could work. Looking for queen d5 with the pin is a good way to do it. And we're up 1 point of material. So we're down a couple pawns, I think. How many pawns? 3 versus 4. We're down a pawn, which is fine. We're used to being down a pawn. Rook d8's a good move. Can't I just take this pawn? Can't I just take... No, bishop covers. We got to move quick. Rook F loses to... Oh. Okay, let's connect the rooks. Let's connect the rooks. We don't want any tricks. Our queen's like our only defender at the minute, which is scary to say the least. Oh, they've done that, which is interesting. Should I sack the exchange back? No, can't be right. Ugh. This is wild. Yeah, that's an annoying move. Okay, we'll go to c1 then. And look for like a rook c6 potentially. Could be nice. Or queen c6 even. Queen c6. Yeah, they've got no more d4 check now that rooks are covering the check. Nice. Nice, 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 nice. I like it. You go there. Okay, that's a very interesting move actually. I quite like it. I don't want to give up this pawn. We're going to have to start pushing the pawn. Yeah, we're going to have to just start pushing the pawn, I think. I think that's a great move. I don't want to go down any more pawns because our chance of drawing skyrockets because we don't have enough material. They're throwing the checks fine. We're sticking to the light squares, by the way. Very important. I don't know how we do this. I don't. To be honest, their king's too safe. Maybe a queen c6 hoping for check. Oh, wait, what? What's that doing? Okay, so I can't go to e8 because the rook takes. Oh, I've got to speed up. I don't want to lose the pawn. Okay, we're going after this pawn. They've made a weakness, and we're going after it. Keeping these rooks here. I'm worried about this a pawn, but I think we win this one back if they go to e7. Yeah, we've gone to g4, rook g4, king takes. We'll pre-move. There's still no checks. Still no checks. They can't push g5 because of rook takes. Check is fine. That's interesting. Okay, start pushing the pawn then. Or we could check. Check does nothing for us. Yeah, we'll start pushing the pawn. They've moved their rook off. We're threatening to win f4 if they move their queen. And we just got to push this pawn. We've got a minute left. Very close. It could go either way. Either three ways, I guess. But I'm lucky everything's on a light square. With their dark squared bishop, I'm very happy about that. We potentially have some like ladder mates with a rook sack, queen takes, check, at least a perpetual there. If we can get the king over, that could be mate. We'll keep pushing the pawn. Ooh. I didn't see that. Okay, we got to take the queen then. Go rook e4, wins us the pawn. Keep pushing. Check. There. Check. There. There's nothing. There's nothing. Check. There. We'll go back. That loses the... No, we can. We can take this pawn if they take. Very nice. Very nice. Okay. Be careful here. And then we go rook e2 if they move the rook. We're going to have to premium. I'm sorry, folks, if I'm not talking. This is going to take everything. They're going to check. Move over. Check. King down. What's that doing? I'm not sure. We'll go there. Can't check. We'll move H. No, we won't move H4. We'll sack the rook. We'll sack the rook. No, we won't. We'll go after the G pawn. Ah, that's a terrible move. That loses the game. No! That's mate. Oh. That's such a shame. That is such a shame. Ay, ay, ay. This time control is so harsh. So harsh. You know, the no increment. Oh, ooh. Very mean. I think, to be honest, even if we were playing, if we didn't mess it up, it was at least a draw. You know, I don't think we were getting anything out of that. We didn't have enough pawns to make it. Anyway, a 71.3 versus a 77.8. 1650 accuracy, 1800 for my opponent. The Grand Prix. I'm not going to go over the theory because I don't know it like I used to know it. The computer's not going to like it. I'll tell you that for a fact. But yeah, so this is the setup I want, basically. Castle king side. And I'm happy. It's very similar to the kings in the attack. Except the knight's on c3 rather than d2. And I guess you've got this f-pawn push in as well. Which makes the attack sort of nicer, I think. Rather than the king's Indian, which can be a bit temperamental. Depending on what your opponent does. I think the f-pawn gives you a more direct attack. I pushed a4. Now a4... I'm never good with these moves. I am never good with these. And it's something I struggled with when I played this as my main repertoire against the Sicilian. When to push the pawn, a3, a4, the computer will spit out these moves. And I never actually understood them. I know what the idea is to slow down their play. But to actually get this with the timing right and in the right circumstances is very hard. Apparently here, e5 is just the move. I'm not quite sure why. I'm not sure why. I guess just to lock things up even more. Apparently you win a pawn out of it. I'm not sure. Anyway, bishop e7 is an interesting move. As you might see this a lot in the King's Indian attack as well. I think it's interesting. It shakes things up. Especially if you play like a French Sicilian, where you've got this little light squared pawn chain. It's very tempting to get the bishop onto this fianchetto. Apparently you take, again. This is still equal though, very equal. We move the rook to b1. Apparently c3 is the move there, which I think we mentioned. Usual sort of good moves, and you'll find these good and excellent moves a lot. Because it's very hard to find the exact right move in these positions, because there are so many options, and only one move can be the best move. So you'll find a lot of good and okay moves. But apparently this plan just doesn't work with e5. Apparently the move is knight d5 there is the reason. Which is cool, I guess. Queen d2. Oh, it's just because the bishop's hanging, so you're no longer able to get this c5 square. Okay. Really, though? Can't you just go like bishop f2? Bishop f2, I guess you're cutting off the rook from covering that. What's the move? D takes. What about bishop takes here? Bishop takes. And this is almost completely winning for black. It's minus 2.6. I guess you just go down a pawn. And if you take this, you can't take that. If you take it with the bishop, you're getting the queen in the game now, which is quite good. Which, yeah, that's nasty. Nasty stuff. Yeah, and I feel like we're fine here. They played it a bit dodgy. We played c3, which is the best move. Takes, bishop takes. They get the pawn, but we get the exchange. And this is slightly better for us. This is plus 1.3. And this is I love this move from them. This is such a cool idea. Really, really complicates things. And we went ahead and took with the bishop on e7. What is the best move? Apparently rook b6 is the best move, which is absolutely bonkers to me. Rather than like try get material, you just, I mean, I don't even know, cover the knight, I guess. Let's have a look at some of the other lines here. Rook b6, bishop takes e7 is actually the next best, but goes back down to equality. A few blunders are rook b7, which I believe we might have mentioned, and that loses because of queen takes e6. Then rook takes, then what? Queen f6. d7. For some reason this is, oh, this is equal now though. Oh, that's weird. I thought that was losing. Rook b7. Oh no, it is equal. Fair enough. What else is there? Rook fc1, hitting the bishop, is an interesting idea as well. Takes, get the bishop at the end. But queen e6, and not takes knight. Because of what? Queen takes e7? Do you not just get the bishop at, I guess it's just an equal trade then. And you're down at least, yeah, you're down a pawn with a very weak pawn as well. Okay, I might have just miscalculated that. Fair enough. What else have we got? What's the last one? Rook b3 apparently. Same idea, I guess. Except now your rook is on the line after queen takes knight. So that's a bit worse. We went bishop takes, so back down to equality. Knight takes, bishop takes, la 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 la. Apparently rook b7 might be a bit more active, I guess. You know, and there's a lot of shuffling about here. I think the combination of this really annoying bishop with tons of checks, this weak pawn, and my rook being sort of awkwardly placed here, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have a plan. And that meant I was wasting a lot of moves. I felt this f-pawn was a bad move. Apparently because rook f there, and you just you let them have the d-pawn. apparently you just let them have the d-pawn. Trade off, pick that, maybe even go for this. And this I could see being about equal if you trade off. I don't think that's going to be the computer move though. Rook d2. Yeah, throw in a few checks, why not? They're going to shuffle, they're going to keep shuffling. Oh, you offer the trade of rooks. What's the long-term plan here though? I'm not quite sure. It seems like black has a quote-unquote fortress here, which can be very, very annoying. How do you like infiltrate this? I don't think you can. I think this would end up in a draw. Where are we? Yeah, so we went... Oh gosh, we've lost it. F4. We went there. Try stop any g5 ideas and try potentially go to like a g4 and hit this pawn. Apparently you can just trade the queen here. Again, though, I feel like this is ending in a draw. We sort of ran out of moves. We pushed the pawn. And, like, here, I don't think we have a choice. This rook's going to get trapped unless you trade off queens. I guess you could go to g5, I guess. But then you lose a bit of the sting hitting this pawn. So we just trade off, which is the best move. Rook e4, and this is dead drawn here. This is minus 0.2, so it's nothing. This is a blunder, though. This is a blunder. Apparently, rook f2 is the way to go. And again, this is winning, apparently. This is plus 2.2. We were right with the checks. Apparently, oh, you just... Really? Oh, they still can't push this. What if you push, they take, then push? Oh, because you can take the bishop. Duh. You can take the bishop. So that was the thing to do, I guess. That was the thing to do. E2. Yeah, you just sack the pass pawn. We get this pin off. And apparently you win a bishop. I think that's the computer just doing that. We messed up here, though. Definitely messed up here. With this, I feel like we should be winning the bishop here, but we just didn't because they had these really annoying checks. And I see now why the computer's recommending king h1 here. Because they no longer have this check. Again, they can still take the rook, but then you're going to be down the exchange. So you spend a move while you can, getting the king to h1, which is absolutely insane. And then I guess they just take... No, they just keep shuffling. And you don't even go after the bishop with a bishop, a rook e2. You go after this pawn, and then you threaten to take the pawn. And if bishop takes, you've got the same tactic. Then they go bishop f4, which is really, really cool. So x-raying the rook and your rook. So after they take, it's the same thing. I'm guessing it ends up like this. So it's down to can you win a pawn down, exchange up endgame, which is it's not easy. It's not easy at all, folks. We made a few mistakes, a few misses, and then end up messing up with 13 seconds left on the clock. I walked into that one as well. Properly walked into that one. Literally any other move would have been fine. Any other move would have been fine. To be fair, they're playing out a whole endgame. Like, if they wanted to, they could have kept shuffling, kept checking. And it's for us to mess up, you know. They're unlikely to mess up because A, they have time. B, they have this really secure bishop. So it's on us to mess up. I think with perfect play, it's a draw. And with imperfect play, you can see we lose. And if you can't see this, it's what happened. It's a discovered check. It's a discovered check. They win the rook. There's nothing I can do about it. And this here is just walking into a death trap. Basically, it's generally not a good idea to walk into your enemy's pawns, especially with the king right next to them. But I mean, well played to my opponent. You know, that's it's a tough position to come back from. They did very, very well. But yeah, that's the Grand Prix. I quite like the Grand Prix. It's nice. It's like a nicer version of the King's Indian Attack. But, you know, I don't think it's something I want to play competitively. I just played this somewhat different today. Yeah, it seems a bit, I don't know, sluggish, less dangerous, I guess, for black. They have a lot of time. Rather than the King's Indian attack, which can come quite quickly, especially if they decide to lock up. This seems like you've got to really... While the attack is easier with f4, you've got to go, like, now. You can't spend any moves messing about. But yeah, it's an enjoyable open if you guys want to try it out. I don't think I'm going to make a video about the theory just because, like, with these sorts of things, there's so many variations about what black can do. You know, I think there's a pterodactyl, the great snake. You know, there's all these pawn moves they can do that change everything about the position. And then these little quiet moves with black, which I've said, I don't know what I'm doing, to be honest. But other than that, you know, you get the idea. It's an enjoyable opening. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Very tough game. Very, I wouldn't say annoying game. It was a fun game. But yeah, just didn't go our way. Sometimes stuff doesn't go your way. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Please like if you liked. Please subscribe if you really liked. And I'll catch you guys all tomorrow. Bye-bye.